Shout out to our affiliates, VeVe Digital Collectibles. Join the future of collecting with VeVe, where the world collects. Whether you're a die-hard fan, a passionate collector, or new to the world of collecting, VeVe is your gateway to premium, officially licensed digital collectibles, comics, and artworks from some of the biggest brands on the planet, such as Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, DC, and many more. Check out the affiliate link in the description box below, or use the QR code that you see on the screen for $10 off your first purchase.
And we are live. Let's go.
Yay!
Wait, where's my dancing girl? Where's my dancing? That sounds crazy. Okay, there we go. Hit another yay.
Yay!
My name is Emojii. I'm here with
Magic
and
your boy Max, aka the anime god.
In the building. Oh my god. We got our first special guest today. Shout out Max. Shout out Omi Homies. Shout out the We're Not Really Friends podcast.
Yay!
Max and Tosh. Let's go. And today, well, actually, let me tell people where they are. This is
Toontown 2.
Tokyo. Let's go. I think we're getting a little bit better at it. What do you think? A little bit. There we go. Yes, we are here where we review anime and Disney, Eastern and Western animation, mash it up, being a lover of both fandoms, and give our takes on it. So the movie that we are reviewing today is, are you guys ready for this?
No.
It is The Boy and the Beast, a film by Mamoru Hosoda. I think I pronounced that correctly this time. If I didn't, I apologize. But this is by the same director that this is by the same director that did Wolf Children. Same director. And you loved Wolf Children.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
I'll get into some of the parallels, but yes, this is the same director. And Max, you watched it, so that's why you're weighing in on this too. Thoughts? What did you guys think of it?
Max, you go first.
I've got thoughts. Go.
Okay.
You want to go first, Magic? You want to just rip this Band-Aid off?
Oh,
Who wants to
Lord.
go first?
Let me prepare.
Hey,
real
you're
quick.
the
Hold
best. It's all you.
Okay. My thoughts. So I had high hopes for this anime because this is one of the first animes that's ever been recommended to me. I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. Why not? Especially if my friend Emojii recommends it to me. There's no way he could steer me wrong, right? No way, right? Right? So...
Never that.
It was not what I wanted it to be. Honestly, this thing could have been 30 minutes if you would have just gotten to the point. I don't want to poo-poo on it completely because I know we got to do a whole show of it, but I was not very fond of it. Maybe during this episode you can change my mind of things that I may have missed, but I don't think I missed much because there wasn't much to miss. So let's talk about it. There's a whole bunch of talking and a whole bunch of a lot of things that could have just been set to the side and gotten to. This should have been an episode, is what I said. This shouldn't have been a movie. This should have been an episode in a miniseries. So.
Okay. I feel like this is a reoccurring thing, and even with Magic and your thoughts, that you feel like it's longer than it should have been. But before we go into that,
it's not going to be 2 hours.
Magic, what did you think of the movie?
I mean, there are parts of it I really liked, and I ultimately liked the ending of the film, but it was just so drawn out. Like it just went on and on and on. Like it was a lot.
Now you did watch
the concept I liked, and there's certain scenes that are beautiful or meaningful that I really liked, but there was just a lot that didn't need to be there, and I feel like it took away from the overall, like, what you were supposed to get as an audience.
Okay. Pacing was definitely an issue. Pacing.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect word. Word.
I was just able to get like cone to cover Max's face real quick. It just pops up. It's like a mask. I'm gonna have fun with this. This is fun. Okay. Okay. I hear you guys. I hear you guys. But okay. Maybe we should dive into it. I wanted to ask you another question. Oh, Magic. You said you watched this with your son, though, right?
Did.
You did. Okay. What was his thoughts?
We didn't talk in detail about it, but he did say that he liked it. And I said, so do you like anime? And he said, yeah, I do. And I was like, well, why?
Now you know the reason why I recommended this one for you, right?
Because it's a little boy that turns into like a fighter, and so kids are gonna like it.
Yeah, I told you I wanted to recommend something that you could watch with your son, and it would be something that I hope both of you guys would enjoy, but I knew at least he would enjoy. So I think I you know what, I still want to celebrate my W, and I still want to say I think I made a good recommendation because it's for Magic's son.
Hi.
Okay.
There we go. Someone enjoyed it. But okay, so the movie Boy and the Beast, and once again, it's by the same director, Mamoru Hosoda, and he specializes in connections and relationships. And you got to see that. Not always animals, but in these two movies, animals. But you got to see that in Wolf Children, right? It was the relationship between a mother and her children, right? And that was the focal point. This was the relationship between a son and a surrogate father. And I feel that the story really, really honed in on that father-son relationship and how you can have that relationship even if it's not through blood. But the story starts out with this kid, and he is, I don't want to say an orphan because his dad is still alive, but his mom and his dad divorced. So his dad was separated and he was living with his mom. His mom dies in a tragic car accident, and his mom's family comes to take care of him, and he doesn't want to go. He's upset at the loss of his mom. He wants to go live with his dad, and they're kind of like, your dad doesn't want you, and he kind of like has this I hate the world mentality, and he runs away. And he's hiding in the street, and then this bear, no exaggeration, a bear comes up to him.
Airman.
He's like a bear Jedi because he's wearing robes. He's like a bear Jedi. And he comes up to him and he's like, do you want to be my apprentice? And, the other animal that's with him is kind of like, stop joking. We need to go back to our world. So you find out that they live in this kind of like mystical world. And there is this whole like intro monologue and stuff kind of like telling you about the story or the world that they live in. But the kid follows him. And the kid and it's kind of like has this Alice in Wonderland through the looking glass vibe, because he follows him into this new world where all the inhabitants are all animals, right? Like animal people, like they stand on 2 feet and stuff like that. But it's like this new world, and he ends up becoming this bear's apprentice. The bear wants an apprentice because he wants to ascend the ranks and be the highest, person in charge, and he needs an apprentice to do that. And the kid doesn't know where to go. And, this is interesting. What did you guys think of like this setup, like the start of things, how it kind of kicked off? Because I didn't give you any insight as far as what it was about, or that it was this kind of like, I don't know, fantasy world with animals and stuff like that. Did you guys at least like the setup or nah? Maximus?
Yeah, that's when things started getting weird, when he went into the other world. So at the beginning, there was people walking in a busy city and stuff, and I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. It, like visually, it looks like it's gonna be like a real cool story or whatever. Mm-hmm. Then he walks it through this like alley into another world, and then there's like dogs and wolves walking around, and that's where I was like, what the heck? And so yeah, that's where it kind of like started to unravel for me.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
And see, well, so Magic, I thought, and another reason why I recommended this, because I felt like this was probably one of the closest things that I recommended to you to like a Disney film. because of that kind of like fairy tale aspect of being transported into the, like, it reminded me of like Alice in Wonderland to that extent, like going into this new world. You know what? You are the Disney expert. You tell me, did any of this feel Disney to you? I take it no from your facial expression.
I will say, like, at the end, when we get into like the whale and stuff, that there was a bit of a Disney-esque vibe there. I hadn't put the whole Alice in Wonderland piece together until you said that, and now like I see that. Also, kind of like Labyrinth. So, but yeah, I wasn't meshing the two together. Watching,
I would say it felt more Marvel, maybe more Marvel than Disney. Like with the sword part, when he took ownership of the sword or whatever, it was like the gauntlet or whatever. And, yeah.
Well, and it's like it's sort of like almost feels like a multiverse scenario at times, like in these two alternate realities.
Yeah.
So I get that.
I feel you.
And just like Spider-Man, there's an internal struggle. Like, does he want to be in the beast world or the human world? You know, does he want to be a superhero? Do you want to be just your average, just a human with no strings attached?
True.
So yeah.
True. So from there, then it gets into, what I was saying as far as with the whole aspect of relationships, right? And in this situation, the father-son relationship or surrogate father-son relationship. And am I saying it right? It's surrogate father, right? I want to make sure I'm not making up things like stepfather, half
I would
father.
more so say like adopted surrogate, like you're a surrogate mother, like you give birth.
That's like, but it's not. Yeah, I'm definitely saying the wrong thing on stream. Yo, they're gonna look at me crazy on here, yo. I promise you, I can speak. I promise you, I can speak. The first time you said it, but I was gonna. You gotta correct me. You can't have me out here saying wild stuff
on that one.
Okay, all right. Just ignore that.
Father figure.
There we go. Just ignore what I said, and that it's okay. It's okay. But yes, the father figure, right, role. But the thing is, they don't get along when they first see each other, and I think it's probably also because they're very similar. Like they're both very cantankerous, like just argumentative people. So he meets him. Stubborn, right? And he meets the kid. He's telling the kid what to do. The kid is like, "You're not the boss of me. You don't tell me what to do." And they're fighting the whole time. And it gets to the point where the kid at some point, no, the kid sees the bear. Kotetsu is his name, I think. If I have it wrong, I'm sorry. But he sees the bear get into a fight, and Kumatetsu. There we go. See?
Hey, Matt.
Let's go. I'm horrible with names.
Okay.
So he sees Kumatetsu get into a fight with his rival, and I think that's the thing that triggers it, because he sees Kumatetsu get washed. But the thing is no one's rooting for Kumatetsu. Like everyone is rooting against him, and I think that triggered him because he felt like the world was against him. Like he felt like, the odd person out. So he was the only one that was rooting for him. And I mean, Kumatetsu still gets washed, but I think that gave him a different level of appreciation for him, and who he was. And it made him actually start, looking at the way that he does, because the dude is strong. Like he's strong, and the kid gets beat up in school, which I don't know why he's going to animal school. But anyway, he's going to animal school. That is a thing. And he gets beat up. And he wants to become strong too. So now he's watching Kumatetsu, like imitating his moves. And that's when kind of like the relationship kind of first develops, even though it's not a direct relationship. What did you guys think of that kind of like, I guess, intro into them building their connection?
All I can think of right now is Build-A-Bear. Oh, sorry. I digress. So I actually liked like the forming of their bond. It's interesting. I didn't know that this was the same director as Wolf Children. And this guy has a very similar approach in both of these movies. He really likes like a mean character. Like you had the angry old man who was sort of a mentor in Wolf Children. And then in this one, you have, I'm not going to say the bear's name, the bear, And he's a grumpy old man too. Like he's grumpy too. So I'm like, okay, well now I see like there's a little bit of a theme here with this guy. Also, I feel like, I don't know, it was kind of funny that the kid's not like, well, I want the other guy to be my mentor, not this guy because he's a loser. So at the same time, like I thought it was cute and sweet, and I did enjoy like seeing their bond or lack thereof. Like their bond was based on just butting heads constantly. But at the same time, like boy really like knew the bear, like to the point where he could like predict his every move. Like he studied him. Like he really did take on the mentorship with like
a baby would study their parent.
Yeah.
And they even really gave that illustration. They gave that parallel.
Yeah, and it was interesting to see him like use everything that he learned from just observing the bear and not only become like a better fighter himself, but also in doing so taught, I'm just going to keep calling him the bear. Bear with me.
Komatetsu.
Komatetsu.
Let me get that out of you.
I can't say that.
You can do it. Say Como.
No, I'm not doing it. No, I'm calling him the bear. He's the bear. But he taught him based off of what he learned from him, like
his
passively,
weaknesses?
like you would see him in the kitchen and stuff, like listening and learning his steps and things like that. And he ended up like learning how to be the bear better than the bear, and in turn almost like turned into his mentor, which I thought was that part I really liked actually.
Yeah. I did too. And that kind of like strengthened there. And it's kind of like also the things with kids, right? And that's another thing when it comes to relationships. Sometimes, we teach our kids a lot of things, but sometimes we learn a lot of stuff from our kids, right?
It's true.
And that's kind of like, I guess, a parallel with the movie. But Max, what about you? What did you think about as far as the budding of their relationship?
I think because they were so similar in personalities, I love Magic's looking at me. That's why it resonated with him when he was getting like beat up. Like, hey, this is kind of like similar to my path, and something I should defend him because I'm kind of like defending myself as well. Yeah. So like the parallels between the both of them, I think is interesting. That's why they became. Not father and son, but like disciple, He became disciple of Kumatetsu because they were just each other in different bodies. They were just so similar.
Yeah.
So
true.
Yeah.
True. So, so that's the start, right? And you see, the kid growing. And I mean, this is years that goes on. Like he goes from a kid up until like teenage years. I think he was like 17 years old or something like that. So he spends time growing and learning from him like a father-son relationship. And then he has another, I want to say like another fight with him or something like that. But he ends up back in the human world. He finds the like alleyway that put him there. And he realizes, he learned a lot there as far as how to fight, but he didn't know simple basic things about being a human. Like he didn't know how to read because he left at a very young age. So, he goes to a library, he starts learning how to read. He makes a little friend for himself, a girl, and, she kind of like teaches him. Friend. Yeah, he makes a little friend. And, she kind of teaches him. But the thing is, he runs into his actual father, like his actual father in real life. And they have this exchange where he realized, like at first, like, you don't really know what to take of it because the movie at that point doesn't give you as far as, did the father just run away? Did like, what is the dynamic between them? And they're seeing each other. And first off, I want to say that scene for me was like really touching because when he runs into his dad, he doesn't announce who he is. He just walks up to his dad and he says, "Do you know me?" And then the father looks at him like, "Huh?" And then he just walks, he's like, never mind, and starts walking away. And then like the father thinks about it and he's like, wait, Ren? That's the son's name. He's like, Ren? And then the kid stops. And then the camera goes back to the father. And he like, first off, scenes like that, I don't know if you guys like noticed the camera work and stuff like that, but it was this wide screen, but it would pan from left to right. So like it would focus in on the son. and you wouldn't see the father, and then it would pan over to the left, and then you would see the father, but you wouldn't see the son, and it would pan back over to the right, and then the father would run and meet. Like, there was some very interesting things as far as with how the camera work was working on this, but yeah, I just thought that embrace was like really touching. And then you find out that the father actually looked for the son. He didn't know that the mother died, because they kind of like, I guess, kept them apart and stuff. And when he found out the mother died, he looked for the son, but obviously couldn't find him because he was in animal world, animal kingdom.
Shout out Disney.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, what did you guys think of kind of like the human side of things? Now, for me, I feel like that side was what kind of dragged a little bit. For me, I feel like that side, but maybe that didn't for you guys. But what did you guys think once he entered back into the human world, met the girl, his dad, like?
I mean, I thought all of it dragged, honestly. I thought the animal kingdom side dragged on a bit. And I feel like the human world also dragged on a bit. But I did like, him seeing his father again and like the recognition. And again, like with these, there's still like a lot that doesn't get said. Like you don't really know what happened there between the two, like between the mother and father, like, and I don't know. But I did like that he got to like reconnect with his father.
Let's go. Okay, cool. Max, your thoughts?
Same. It was pretty cool that we got to see that. But once again, I think as touching as that was, like really had not much to do with the story, because he does come back and he does like protect his animal kingdom pappy. But yeah.
I feel you. I feel like the relationship with the girl didn't really have much to do with the story other than teaching him how to read, which I mean, he could have learned how to read from anyone. So I feel like that kind of dragged a little bit. The stuff with the father, I get that because you're dealing with, the father that raised you versus the father that birthed you. And I think that was kind of like the themes that he was trying to hit. And as far as like what makes the bond that you have as a father. And the interesting
father a father.
Yeah, exactly. But the interesting thing, it wasn't that like his biological father wasn't bad. He just didn't know where he was. Like he literally went to a whole new world.
Hey.
But yeah,
I do feel like that should have hit harder for me, like personally, because my daughter is not my biological daughter, but my daughter is me, But at that point, I was so like...
That's another reason why I thought maybe you would like it, just because of the aspect of kind of like that whole father that raised you. Yeah, like I do appreciate that theme in the movie of like blood really has nothing to do with nothing when it comes to just family and chosen family, because... Yeah. And then just how he bonded so much with Bear Guy, and how, you're the one that knows his name.
Yeah, what was it? Kumatetsu. Bear Grylls.
But yes, 100%. And it makes me think of, it's funny because a lot of people like misunderstand this quote. It is very commonly misunderstood. The quote, blood is thicker than water. And that's because it's not like fully fleshed out, because the whole quote is the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, which is actually opposite of what people think, which means that the blood that you forge through bonds and relationships is thicker than what you're birthed with. Like you share the same womb or your sibling and stuff like that. So it's actually saying that your brothers that you have bonds with are actually maybe stronger than the siblings that you're, birthed.
Bars.
There you go. Did you guys know that?
I've never heard that in my life.
Really? Yeah. No. That's the full quote. Blood is thicker than water. The full quote is actually the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, which actually means the opposite of what people interpret it as.
we're here learning today.
There you go.
Nice. We are here learning.
But yes, so yes, his father, you know, while granted his biological father wasn't a bad father, it was just the one that raised him was the one that that he connected with. And it just so happened that he actually had a lot of similarities to. Now, the story does go on, right? And you find out that, you know, there's kind of
there?
Almost. It's not that long of a movie, Magic. Like it's
Are we there yet?
All right. The story does go on, and you find out that there's like this phobia of humans in the animal world because they have this darkness in them. And the Ren, the main character, he starts seeing like, you know, the darkness in him from kind of like the anger that he holds and stuff like that, and being abandoned or kind of like not feeling wanted, losing his mom, like all of that stuff adds up, right? And you find out that the rival of Komatetsu actually had a human son as well. But he hit him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he hit him. So, you know, so they're doing the big fight for who's going to be the next ruler of the world. It's Komatetsu versus, what's his name?
Lozen.
Is it Lozen?
I think it's research.
How do you remember? I feel bad. All right, so yes, there you go. So Komatetsu versus Lozen.
Okay,
I am. They're gonna be like, yo, what type of anime fan? You can't remember nobody's names. I told y'all, I don't have a hard time remembering. This is a constant with me. I only remember Light from Death Note because it's very easy. Like it's Light. But yeah. So they have the big fight, and Ren is there. They didn't know that he was going to show up, but he actually showed up. And Komatetsu wins, and Ren is cheering him on. But his son, right, the other human, Lozen's son, reveals that.
One second. You have to also say though that like the Bear Man wins because Ren shows up, and he cheers him on because he is actually losing. What about this? Which I loved. Mm-hmm. Is he's losing and Ren shows up and he like goes back into the relationship that he has with him, and is like, get up, what are you doing? And is like yelling at him like in this way that was their bond. And so that was actually you can't graze over that. Like that was actually a really, really beautiful part of the movie where he like helps lead him to victory, and he's like this voice in his heart and gives him the strength to, even though he won't admit it, gives him the strength to like get up and keep fighting and then win based off of like this bond that they've formed throughout the years and teaching each other. Continue now.
Yes. Well, no, 100%. Actually, hold on. I gotta hit a yay on that real quick.
Yay!
There we go. Awesome breakdown. But yes, 100%. Huge point of the film. And I think that kind of like solidified because remember, like you see them growing from each other, you see them bonding, but there's a different level of kind of like bonding and like actual acceptance, right? Like when you get to the point where you're like, and I think that's something with parenting you kind of like feel too. You know, you raise the children and stuff like that, and you have tumultuous times and stuff like that where you guys are on opposite sides or things like that. But then as you know, the child gets older and different levels of maturity and things like that, then there's that level of connection where, you know, maybe they understand you a little bit more. And even if they disagree and stuff like that, there's that level of kind of like, and that's where you can kind of, and I feel like that fight scene was a level of that because they had already gone through ups and downs, but he was there because he's like, no, this is my father. This is where I need to be. And, you know, he was there to help encourage him to the point where, you know, he actually won. And he wins, you know, big celebration. Everyone's happy. And the kid that is Lozen, am I saying that right? Lozen? Max?
Yeah.
Lozen's son reveals that he's a human and he has like these telekinetic powers and stuff like that, which we knew he had telekinetic powers. But he stabs Komatetsu. And that is when everything breaks loose. So you're saying this was the part that kind of reminded you of Disney, right? Like when you have the whale, because like he's revealing all of these different powers. Like he has these shadow powers, and he could turn into like a whale, and you know, all of this stuff going on. Like visually, I thought it looked amazing. Like it reminded me of a ride.
It was pretty visually, very pretty. Yeah, like I thought they did a good job, and just like the whole, even the transfer of power with the sword into now young man. He's not a boy anymore, and like basically getting the bear reincarnated. Like,
oh wait, I didn't. I didn't get to that part yet.
You're already at the whale. The whale's past that. Like what?
I'm sorry. Did you want to explain the reincarnation thing? My apologies.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, we're gonna rewind back a little bit. Does it?
Huh? To rewind back even further, doesn't Ren encourage Ichirohiko to like harness his darkness?
How do you remember all the? What in the world? Did you write this down?
Bro, it's right here, bro. But doesn't he's like I too have had dark times, you know? Like he was like kind of like
that is true.
Yeah. He kind of like tries to walk him through a path because he's human too. So he's like connecting with the human also and his darkness.
Yes, you are correct. They do try and connect, but it doesn't work because he's a little bit too far gone by that point. But yes, that does happen. And okay, so going to the point that you were making, Magic. Yes, so after Komotetsu gets stabbed, right? He's in a hospital. He's laid up in a hospital, and you know, Ren is fighting. What's his name again, Max?
Ichirohiko.
Yeah, he's fighting Ichirohiko, and Komotetsu's like, I want to help him. And he's like, I want to reincarnate. And then they're like, you can't reincarnate. Only the leader can reincarnate. And then they're like, wait a minute. He just won the match. He is the leader. So technically he can reincarnate. So, but in order to do that, he has to die. Like he has to sacrifice his life to reincarnate. And he reincarnates. And here's the touching part. So at the very beginning, when he's giving Ren lessons on how to become stronger, he tells him, you need to grab the sword in your heart. And obviously Ren looks at him like he has 5 heads. Like, what are you talking about? Grab the sword in my heart. Like, I don't understand what you mean. And he's yelling at him. He's like, are you simple? Like, no, grab the sword in your heart. And, you know, they get into an argument. He storms off. So what he wants to reincarnate as is the sword in his heart in a physical form. And you see him reincarnated as like this sword that he picks up. And then that's kind of like where that reincarnation comes from.
Man could have chosen all the things to reincarnate us. An inanimate sword. That's what we went with.
But it was he won with it.
He should have reincarnated to like a gun, you know, a machine gun.
But they're animals. They didn't even have guns.
They had swords, but not guns.
They had guns. They weren't like, they were using swords and stuff like that. It was an animal world. They didn't have gunpowder.
So that's a great question for the panel. Like you guys that you have kids, if y'all seen y'all's kid was getting beat up a little bit and y'all needed to reincarnate into something, what would y'all reincarnate into?
I mean, I guess
I reincarnated into an atomic bomb. Bomb everybody who's trying to touch my kid.
I'm a nuclear weapin.
There you go.
Mass destruction.
Oh, there you go. But yes, he reincarnates to the sword. He gets the sword. He fights Max. Who's he fighting?
Ichirohiko.
There you go. He fights Ichirohiko and ultimately wins the day. And that is, I think, the story. But obviously, like, you know, Komotetsu is always with him through the sword. He can hear Komotetsu's voice through the sword. And you know,
and that's the little things though, Emoji, like with anime, that I would love like a little bit more closure. Like I want it to end with like he's walking down the street or he's getting into a fight or something's happening in his life, and then you hear, you know, Bear Dad, like,
you did hear him at the very end. You heard his voice.
What'd he say?
I don't remember what he said, but he said something.
See, it wasn't that relevant.
He said, "You'll be in my heart."
That's Disney, bro. It's Disney.
Oh man. But yeah, he did. He said something. There was something that was said. But
it left a long impression, I could see.
But all right. But okay, so that's pretty much it. So thoughts, right? What did you guys, I mean, now that we kind of like dissected a little bit, do you guys feel a little differently or no? Or it's pretty much the same? Or what are you guys thinking?
I am deferring to Max first.
Yeah, I feel the same. I'm gonna be objective here. Mm-hmm. This could have been an amazing story had it been served correctly to the audience. In my opinion, like this was an entree. This could have been an entree, but it was. I feel like it was like
7 courses. It was 7 courses that nobody needed.
Yeah, exactly. If you would have like condensed, when the debt people call you to consolidate your loan or something, this loan should have been consolidated, and it would have been amazing. But that's where I'm at with it. Like the story could have been so great had it just been displayed different. But I mean, the principles and the story were amazing. They were really good. Mm-hmm. It's just the actual storytelling part that I had a struggle with.
Okay.
I completely agree. Like, I love the story itself. I thought there were a lot of beautiful moments throughout the film. It was just at least half an hour too long, if not 45 minutes to an hour. Like, there was just too much in between, which is, I mean, this is now what, my 4th review? Like, that is my sticking point with anime so far. Like, I don't have anything against the stories or the art. I mean, the art I'm still a little iffy on. But it should just beat around the bush. Like, just get to the point. Like,
I do wonder. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish up.
No, go. Please go.
I do wonder, Magic, if this would have hit us at a different time in our lives, like if we weren't adults with like things to do and priorities to handle, like bills, like I wonder if we had that mind space and capacity to enjoy it and its like fullness, if it would have hit different. But like as adults, we got stuff to do. We got to pick up the kids. We got to go grocery shop. Like, man, get to the point where we're more like prudent with our time. To where something like this is a little.
Well, that's another reason why I asked like what your son thought of it, right? Because obviously he's going to look at it from a different lens, and it's one of those movies that you can still appreciate. You can appreciate as a kid, as an adult, but you can also still appreciate as a kid. I think that like Wolf Children, I feel like you appreciate the most as an adult, but this, I think that you can, because the main character is a kid and dealing with his relationship with his, his in a sense father. I feel like a kid can also still get a level of appreciation from this as well. But it sounded like he enjoyed it. And he wants to watch anime now, which I have lots of recommendations.
I should have asked for his rating. I didn't ask for his rating, but I should have asked for his 1 to 10 rating on this. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you could throw it in the chat.
Yeah, I'll do that. Remind me. I'll do that before... when we get ready to premiere this, I will definitely get his rating and share that with you all.
Yeah. All right, Magic. 1 to 10.
Me first?
Yes. Damn, I just took over the show. My bad, Emoji.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're going to give it a 5?
I give it a 5.
Okay. Oh, we're breaking out of the 7s again, just in the opposite direction.
It's mid.
All right. Well, there you go. Max?
I think it's a little lower than mid for me. I give it like a 4.33, like a 4.34.
You got a round.
Oh, damn. Then I guess it rounds to 4.5.
Wow.
That's not round.
4.5 will be rounded up to a 6.
I'm not rounding up to 5, so I'm rounding down to 4. I give it a 4 then.
4? Okay. All right, 4. So you gave it a 4. Wow, this is very interesting. I'm going to give this movie an 8. I'm going to give it an 8. I think that the movie is. I do agree with you guys in the aspect that certain parts of it were slow, and I feel that the relationship that he had with the girl was kind of like, it was really no point for it for me, especially for the overall arcing relationship.
That's your biggest gripe is the random girl?
Well, here's the thing. That relationship lasted for like a good half hour. Like that whole like fleshing out with him learning how to read and his relationship with her and her getting bullied and, you know, like that was probably like a good 30 minutes of time. So like,
what was the girl's name?
I don't know. You know her?
It was Kaede or Kaede.
Katie?
Katie?
There you go.
Called her Katie?
But yeah, so that to me, like if you cut, like the movie ran for like 2 hours. If you cut that out, the movie would probably be about an hour and a half, which I think is a good runtime for it. And you know, but overall, I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was dope. I thought it had a lot of I thought it captured the relationship in a good way. I thought there was a lot of elements in it that felt very visually like beautiful, Disney-esque, the whale scene, as you said. And I also thought that it was a good anime to introduce to people, especially younger people, into anime, that it doesn't feel too far removed from like Western stuff, specifically Disney stuff, but you know, they can still kind of like just have a fun time with it. I thought it was fun, you know, I thought it was fun. So for that, I mean, I'll give it an 8, but yeah.
That's generous.
But I'm interested to hear what your son thought of it. I want to know what his score is, because I want to know if he's going to be more on my side. We'll see.
You will find out when this premieres with the rest of the audience.
We will. All right. So I guess that wraps everything up. This is our review of Boy and the Beast. Once again, my name is Emojii.
I'm Magic. So weird.
Oh, and now Max, aka the anime god, in the building.
There we go. And this has been
From Toontown to
Tokyo. Once again, we do this every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You see how I threw in your time zone in there too? Hey. Yeah, so that is in the books, and we will see you next week with our next review. Until then, take care, be easy, and peace.